All right, in Unit 2, Lesson 2B, we are going to continue solving quadratics, but we're going to use two different methods. We're going to complete the square today, and we're going to use quadratic formula. Now, completing the square when a equals 1. Well, what is a? A is that coefficient in front of the x squared. Like right here, it's a 1. And on all my examples today, that x squared term is going to be a 1. So that's what we're going to look at today, and we'll deal with what happens if it's not a 1 tomorrow. Okay, so let's look at this. All right, how do we do this completing the square business? All right, so when you are looking at a trinomial and it doesn't factor, then maybe you need to complete the square. So how do we do this? Well, it's a little method. I'm going to call it copy, cut. All right, now the first thing you got to do before you do the copy, cut is you want to move the constant. Now, when I say move the constant is the term in the equation without an x attached. So I'm going to move that constant on the other side of the equal sign. So I got to do that first. Equals, and this will become a positive 6. Great, wonderful. Now we do the copy, cut. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to make it squared, factor squared, and I'm going to copy that variable. I'm going to copy the sign, and I'm going to cut this number in half. X plus 1 squared equals 6. Now, it's not a complete question yet because I have added some values on this side of my equal sign. And here's what I'm talking about. This x plus 1, if you FOILed it out, like really it's x plus 1 times x plus 1. And if I FOIL it, I'll have x squared plus 2x plus 1, right? Well, that's all fine and dandy because look, there's an x squared from the original. There it is. Here's the 2x from the original, but this plus 1 doesn't show up in the original, does it? So we're adding that plus 1 to this side of the equation that wasn't there before. So in order to balance it, to keep it equivalent to the original equation, you're going to have to add the 1 on the right side. Now, how do you know that without foiling it out every time? Take this back number and square it, and whatever you get when you square it, that's what you're adding over here. So now I'll have x plus 1 squared equals 7. Now to solve this, we are back to what we did yesterday, extracting the square roots. Okay, so this is isolated, so I can just take the square root of both sides. Remember, we do it in absolute value bars first. Equals the square root of 7. Now to get rid of absolute value, I say x plus 1 equals plus or minus square roots of 7. Then I move the 1 over. Then it becomes exactly what we did yesterday, right? So this, from here down, this is what we did yesterday. This right here is the completing the square portion. All right, so this goes faster as we go along, but I wanted you to see this relationship. Where did this 1 come from? It came from what we're really adding on the left side when we say x plus 1 squared. Let's try it again on number 2. All right, so again, we want to start by moving the constant to the right. So this is my constant. If I move it over, it becomes a 1. So I'll have x squared minus 4x equals a positive 1. Now we do this stuff, right? So copy, cut it in half, equals 1. Now let's think about what do I need to add on to the right to make it balanced? Well, negative 2 squared is positive 4, so I'm going to add 4. So now I have x minus 2 squared equals 5. Now we're at the extracting the square root stage. So we take the square root of both sides, and we'll have the absolute value of x minus 2 equals the square root of 5. Drop the absolute values by including the plus or minus. Then I move the 2 over. So x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 5. And there are my two solutions. Remember, the 2 plus square root of 5 is one solution, and 2 minus square root of 5 is one solution. All right, that's how you complete the square. Let's try one more. Again, we start here by moving our constant to the right side. So I'll have x squared minus 4x equals negative 8. So let's do copy, cut this in half. And what do I need to add? Well, negative 2 squared is positive 4, so I'll do a plus 4. So I'll have x minus 2 squared equals negative 4. Square root both sides. Absolute value of x minus 2 equal to, now what is the square root of negative 4? Well, it's 2i. drop the absolute value bars by doing plus or minus, and then we move the 2 over to isolate x. So I'll have 2 plus or minus 2i. And there is my answer. Let's go to the next page. One more. How do you handle it when x is not equal to 1? Well, we just got one little extra step. I'll show you as we get there. So still, we're going to start by moving the constant over. 2x squared minus 4x equals -1. So we need to do a GCF on these two guys right here. So I'm going to take a 2 out. I'm going to take that 2 out, but I'm going to leave the x's. X squared minus 2x equals 1. Now I do the copy, copy, cut thing. All right, so now we do copy, copy, cut equals 1. Now, what am I going to add over here? Well, normally I would do -1 squared would give me a +1, right? But now I have to take into consideration this 2. So I take the +1 that I got when I squared -1 and multiply by 2. That means I need to add 2 instead. So you just have a couple things. You have to GCF it right here, and then you have to multiply by that coefficient. So what happens now? Well, now you're going to have 2 times x minus 1 squared equals 3. Now before I can do extracting the square root, I need to isolate this guy. So I need to divide it by 2 first. All right. And then I'm going to come up here, and then I'll have x minus 1 squared equals 3 halves. All right, now we do the extracting the square root business. And I'll have the absolute value of x minus 1 equals square root of 3 over 2. And then, now I want to drop the absolute value bars by doing plus or minus the square root of 3 over 2. Move the 1 over. Now, you can't leave your answer like this. Hopefully you remember you can't leave a square root in the denominator. So remember, the square root of 3 over 2 is like the square root of 3 over the square root of 2. And you can't leave a radical in the denominator. So we have to rationalize it. This is kind of like bonus material here. So to rationalize it, I have to multiply it by itself. Now what you do to the bottom, you got to do to the top. So that will then give me the square root of 6 over 2. And that's what I need to write here instead. So I would leave my answer as x equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 6 over 2. It's not, the 1 is not over 2, just this portion of the answer. All right, so a lot of information on this question that not necessarily intended. But the new stuff that you need to remember is taking the GCF right here, copy, copy, cut, and then you multiply, you square, and then multiply by that coefficient. We'll do some more of these in class, so don't worry if you need some more help with that. Now, the fourth method of solving quadratics is good old quadratic formula, which you should have seen in Algebra 2. So if you haven't already, you need to memorize this formula. Okay, negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. All right, so then if you know this formula, then we can get to our solutions pretty easily. It just takes a minute. So like on number 15, before I can do the formula, I've got to move everything on one side of the equal sign so that I can correctly identify a, b, and c. A is the coefficient of x squared, so in this one a is 1, b is a 3, and c is positive 8. All right, so now I have these plug these values into the quadratic formula to solve it. So it says negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c, all of it over 2 times a. All right, let's clean this up a little bit. Negative 3 plus or minus will be 9 minus 32 over 2. What's 9 minus 32? Well, that would be 23. So negative 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 23, that's gross, over 2. Now, you can't leave the negative 23 like that. You need to take the I out. 23 is prime. Can't do anything with that. But we can take that I out. Over 2. And this is how you would leave your answer. It's okay. It's gross, but it's okay. Let's look at 16. Now, 16, I hope it jumps out to you that we could reduce this by taking a GCF out, right? If you take a 5 out of every term, it would make my numbers a lot smaller, which makes it easier to solve. And there's no x attached to this 5, so there's no solution, so I can just forget about the 5. Now I can look at my, okay, a will be 4, b will be -4, and c would be 1. So let's plug this in. So I have 4 plus or minus, b squared is 16, minus 4 times a times c. All of it over 2 times a. All right. So this is 4 plus or minus, well, that's 16 minus 16 is 0. Hey, that's wonderful. Plus is 0. So 4 plus or minus 0 over 8. Hey, guess what? That is just a 1/2. This just has one solution. X is just 1/2. My numbers got smaller because I did the GCF first. Now, could you not do that and get your answer? Sure. You just would end up with bigger numbers along the way. Let's look at number 17. Now this one's all wonky. Look, your x squared's over here and it's negative. That means I want to move everything onto the right side so we can all be together. So this will be x squared plus 4x minus 8. So I can identify a is 1, b is 4, and c would be -8. All right, so let's plug these guys in. So -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2 times a. All right, well, what happens here? So I'll have -4 plus or minus, well, 16 minus, oh no, that'll be plus 32, won't it? Gives me 48. All right, well, 48, let's see, that cleans up pretty good. That's 4 times 12, so it's 4 times 4 times 3, so I can take a 4 out. Over 2. Now, I can take a 4 out of both terms here, can't I? That would leave me with -1 plus or minus the square root of 3 over 2. Since I took the GCF out, now I can reduce that by 2. So this would become a 2. So then my final answer would be a -2 plus or minus the square root of 3. All right, one more. Look at these big numbers. All right. Thankfully, everything's right on the same side of the equal sign, and x squared's positive, so we're good to go. A is 4, b is 16, c is 17. So let's plug these guys in. So -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. All of it over 2a. All right, so we've got some big numbers here. All right, so I put this in my calculator. 16 squared is 256, minus all of this business is -272, all of it over 8. Well, that reduces -16 plus or minus the square root of -16 over 8. Well, that means I've got some reducing to do still. -16, that becomes plus or minus 4i over 8. Okay, so what can I do? I can take a 4 out of everything, right? So if I take a 4 out, that leaves me with -4 plus or minus I over 8. Now, if I reduce that, I end up with the 2 on the bottom. So -4 plus or minus I over 2. There's my final answer. All right, so again, try these on your own, and we will check your work when you get to class.